Hi there, it's Joshua aka Little Music Bear. Today we're here at Anderson Serangoon Junior College for a H1 economics exam.
Order Indian food lah.
So introduction, basically last year I had nothing much to do, so I just decided to try out new subjects since I didn't take econs for IB. So let's see how far I can go. Yep, but obviously I'll share more details along the way. But let's have a recap first on how I started everything. So yeah, a brief update on how I started learning econs like maybe 1 year ago. Okay. To be exact, I actually do not know when I started, probably between September to October last year, when I just started, where I just suddenly had the idea to learn and got friendly since I wanted to try something new. So, and this month we've been doing lots of stuff, and here we are on exam day on 6 November 2025. So if you want to see the stack, I can show it to you. Well, okay, this all the papers we have done so far over the past year. It's actually quite a thick bunch, but also not especially thick given that I didn't take econs in school ever before. So important thing is to look at the syllabus content for the exam, which would give you a hint on what you need to study for, and also like prepare for all the points that you should take note of, like concepts and tools of analysis. For H1 econs, there are 3 sections: central economic problem, which is like the introduction to econs; markets, which is basically microeconomics; and also the national economy, which is macroeconomics. The format is 80 marks in a 3-hour paper, so there are 2 questions. Usually question 1 for micro and question 2 for macro, 40 marks each. So I started using like borrowed notes like this. Then I had my friend to go through with me all the points that I didn't know. Then eventually we moved on to like past papers from other schools, which yeah, some of them were rather good, some of them had rather a lot of problems, but it gives you a lot of insight on what could potentially come out during exams. Sometimes schools also do come up with weird questions during the prelims, so you have to really take note. And once you're done and ready to go, maybe 2 to 3 months before, I started on past papers, and honestly the performance was rather decent. I also tried to do it under time conditions to stimulate exam conditions, because sometimes high chances you'll overrun the paper or just finish slightly in time like this. Obviously when I first started, I did kind of overrun a bit, and it wasn't that of a good thing, so really need to take note of that if you are trying to learn yourself without any external pressure. And yes, here we go, we've finished the examination. Now, just to review, I think this paper is quite okay, but the micro has somewhat weird questions like this. I really didn't know what these 2 functions of price were, or maybe I could have forgotten. Then they just started the thing with information failure. But the rest of the questions were kind of okay. For the macro section, apparently most of the questions were really easier straight away out of the textbook, and they just gave us all the data tables that we can directly extract it from there. I'd say I have pretty high confidence for this section, maybe you can get high 30s. Well, for micro, maybe just high 20s or so, but we'll see when the results release date comes. Overall, quite a decent paper, but not the best. And so we have completed this part of the vlog, and I guess I'll see you when all the results release day, quite a long time later, maybe February. So let's skip on to the next part. So here are some tips that you could take note before your A-level econs exam. Firstly, I know if you study econs a lot and write a lot of essays, you will find this a bit uncomfortable thing is that the way how humans or workers are treated as factors of production or basically just resources, basically just robots, and everything is just linked to how much productivity and profit firms will make. So, even though I personally do not agree with this, we shouldn't be tying everything to having healthy workers so that they can work more for you, more productive, bring more profits. This, unfortunately, is the standard conclusion that you have to ensure that you get the link of ideas right. So something to keep in mind, but if you happen to be someone who studies economics in the future and not taking exams, please do not practice this. This is kind of a bad example. Secondly is to use real life examples. For example, when you talk about public goods, think around you, give yourself right and wrong examples about something that, for example, is non-excludable and non-vivorous. Then after that, dispute it. Really, just go and take the most random item that you can find and argue it for yourself. Create examples, find something that you can see in your daily life so that econs and its concepts are not just limited to the book or the notes itself, but also around your everyday life. Lastly, the order in which you study. Definitely different people have different ways of revising this thing, but for me, the method that I use is to start with concepts first. First, you need to get all the understanding of all these concepts right, then hone your skills and accuracy in terms of reading sources, reading graphs, reading diagrams, so on and so forth, and understanding how you apply certain concepts like price elasticity, demand and supply, or monetary policy, so on and so forth. Then after that, when you can write essays, you can still refer to the notes, but only towards the very end, then you force yourself to memorize all those definitions. Since most definitions are not really applicable, you have known how to say it and describe it in words, just not in the proper terminology, it will be very helpful to just squeeze everything in the end, as all this doesn't really affect how you write your essays. But once again, this method is just really up to your personal preference, and go ahead with whichever method that suits you best. Another key thing to note for econs, which I kind of left out in the previous sections, is the role of consumers, producers, and government. No matter what you think, always remember this, regardless of whether it's true or not. Consumers seek to maximize utility, firms or producers seek to maximize profits, and the government seeks to regulate the market. For private candidates assessing your A-level results, you can go to the SCAB candidates portal and log in with SingPass. And now it's time to review my A-levels econs results. You can see from the SAB portal, view result. It's loading. Taking a very long time to load, but unexpected error solved, and it's back. Exam year 2025 private individual, and let's review the results. 1, 2, 3.
Oh wow!
Oh, A.
Wow,
Okay,
that's
nice,
cool.
expected. Okay. Okay. Thank you for your help there.
Is it just only you see or you see?
I just saw 10 minutes ago.
Damn, okay, good job.
Okay, then you can have someone to use as your to show off that you taught someone. Then after that, the person get A. Can be an experienced tutor now. Okay, bye bye. Also, people, really sorry for cutting this video up into so many clips because I just keep forgetting to add some stuff or film some stuff and only realized it at the last minute when editing. So the last thing I want to tell you is the timeline of registering for A-level exams as a private candidate. I'll be attaching the SEAB link in the description below for you all to check out. Usually in April, there'll be a registration window which will open and you have to log in using SingPass and make payment, which is around $120 to like $170 a subject. There's a list that will be released on the SEAB website. Then sometime in July, you receive your entry proof. It's important for you to print it out and bring it along on the examination day. And closer to the exam, maybe September, October, you'll receive another document which is the instructions to candidates.